Why are young people more connected than ever, yet many feel increasingly lonely, distracted, and anxious? The Anxious Generation, by Jonathan Haidt, explores how childhood shifted from outdoor play and real-world independence towards smartphones, social media, and constant online supervision. The book has approximately 4.3 stars on Goodreads and won the 2024 Goodreads Choice Award for nonfiction. Readers value its clear explanation of the problem and its practical plan for restoring a healthier childhood. Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone in 2007 as a revolutionary tool that combined communication, entertainment, and internet access. Few people imagined that within several years, smartphones would become central to childhood itself. Before smartphones, children spent more time playing outside, visiting friends, exploring neighborhoods, and solving disagreements face to face. Childhood involved boredom, adventure, embarrassment, and occasionally returning home with mysterious mud on your clothes. As smartphones and social media spread, more childhood experiences moved onto screens. Conversations became messages, games became apps, and social approval became visible through likes, comments, and follower counts. This transformation changed more than how children spent their free time. It changed how they developed socially, emotionally, and physically. A phone-based childhood offers endless stimulation, but it can reduce the real-world experiences children need to build confidence, independence, friendships, and emotional resilience. Continuing from this, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg originally created a platform for university students. Within years, social media expanded worldwide, and increasingly younger users began carrying social networks in their pockets. Human development usually adjusts slowly across generations. Smartphones, however, entered childhood rapidly. Families, schools, and communities had little time to understand their effects or establish healthy rules before the technology became normal. Around the early 2000s, teenagers increasingly gained constant internet access, front-facing cameras, social media accounts, and notifications. Social life no longer ended when school finished. The audience followed everyone home. This rapid transformation created what can be called a massive social experiment. Children became permanently connected before adults understood the developmental risks. Technology itself is not automatically harmful, but introducing powerful, attention-capturing platforms during sensitive years without meaningful protections created conditions that childhood had never faced before. Bit to remember: childhood moved online faster than children, parents, or society could properly adapt. Basketball star LeBron James has spoken about treating sleep as an essential part of his performance and recovery. His routine reflects a simple truth: developing bodies and brains need consistent, high-quality rest. Smartphones interfere with sleep by keeping children awake through messages, videos, games, and endless scrolling. Even when the phone is silent, the temptation to check it can delay bedtime or interrupt rest during the night. Phones also fragment attention. Every notification invites the brain to abandon what it is doing and switch direction. Studying becomes difficult when a device nearby is constantly offering entertainment, social updates, and 17 videos nobody needed to see. Poor sleep and interrupted concentration affect mood, memory, learning, and emotional control. A tired, distracted mind is more vulnerable to stress and anxiety. Protecting sleep and attention is therefore not merely about improving school performance. It is about protecting healthy development. Taking this further, Princess Diana became known for connecting with people through direct eye contact, physical presence, and genuine conversation. Her impact showed that human connection involves far more than exchanging information. Social media promises constant connection, but digital contact does not fully replace time spent together physically. Children develop social intelligence by reading facial expressions, hearing changes in tone, sharing activities, and repairing awkward moments in person. When friends gather but everyone watches separate screens, they are physically together yet psychologically elsewhere. It resembles inviting 10 people to dinner and discovering they have all brought invisible televisions. Online communication can support friendships, especially across distance. The problem begins when it replaces rather than strengthens real interaction. Children need unstructured time together to practice cooperation, humor, loyalty, disagreement, and forgiveness. Without enough face-to-face experience, they may become highly connected digitally while feeling increasingly lonely in real life. Bit to remember: healthy development requires protected sleep, focused attention, and genuine human connection. When Richard Branson was young, his mother sometimes created challenges that required him to find his own way home. Her methods may sound extreme today, but they encouraged independence, problem-solving, and confidence. Children learn courage by facing manageable risks. Climbing, exploring, negotiating rules, and resolving minor conflicts teach them that problems can be handled without an adult immediately arriving like an emergency customer service department. Modern parenting often removes these experiences because adults understandably want children to be safe. However, protecting children from every discomfort can unintentionally teach them that ordinary situations are dangerous and that they cannot handle challenges alone. Free play allows children to test boundaries in relatively safe conditions. They experience small failures, recover, and try again. These moments strengthen resilience because confidence does not come from hearing, "You can handle it." It comes from facing something difficult and discovering, "I handled it." From another angle, child activist Malala Yousafzai used digital platforms to share important ideas and reach audiences worldwide. The internet can give young people extraordinary access to knowledge, creativity, and supportive communities. However, children entering social media also encounter cyberbullying, harmful content, strangers, public comparison, and platforms designed to hold attention. They may face adult-level social pressures before developing adult-level judgment or emotional control. Parents often know where their children are physically while having little idea where they are traveling digitally. A child may appear safe in the bedroom while entering online environments containing humiliation, manipulation, or disturbing material. The imbalance is striking. Children receive limited freedom to explore their neighborhoods, but enormous freedom to explore the internet. A healthier approach reverses this pattern by offering more age-appropriate independence offline and stronger protection online. Children need freedom, but the kind of freedom must match their developmental needs. Bit to remember: give children manageable freedom in reality and meaningful protection in digital spaces. Apple chief executive Tim Cook has said that he does not want people using technology constantly. Even leaders within the technology industry recognize that digital tools should serve human life rather than quietly become human life. 4 shared norms can help restore childhood: delaying smartphones until high school, delaying social media until age 16, making schools phone-free, and giving children more independence and unsupervised play. These changes are difficult when families act alone. A parent who delays a smartphone may worry that their child will be excluded because everyone else already has one. This is a coordination problem, not simply a parenting failure. When families and schools adopt common rules, the pressure changes. Children are no longer singled out, parents receive support, and healthier behavior becomes normal. One family can establish boundaries, but a community can create a culture in which those boundaries become easier to maintain. Finally, Theodore Roosevelt experienced serious health problems during childhood. His father encouraged him to strengthen his body and face challenges rather than allowing weakness to define his identity. Children grow when adults gradually trust them with meaningful responsibility. Walking short distances, completing household tasks, organizing games, helping younger children, and solving everyday problems all communicate the same message: you are capable. Responsibility should increase according to age and maturity. The goal is not to abandon children or ignore genuine danger. It is to stop treating every uncertainty as a crisis requiring immediate adult intervention. A healthier childhood combines protection with freedom. Adults provide secure foundations, clear boundaries, and support, while allowing children enough space to make decisions and learn from manageable mistakes. Smartphones give children the feeling of independence while often keeping them physically passive. Real responsibility builds the genuine independence that prepares them for adulthood. Bit to remember: change becomes possible when families restore freedom together and establish shared digital boundaries.